The Radio Theater of Imagination presents Martin Jacob Kochański, Jack and Joke. Chapter 1. The Time That Barked. My name is Jack Malone. It's 1946, and not long ago I came back from the war as a sergeant. France is a beautiful country, but too many of us stayed behind on the beaches of Normandy. Now, I'm a private detective, which means no one hires me, and I pretend I'm fine with that. I live in Los Angeles, above an old dry cleaner's. I drink coffee that could scour your teeth and your conscience, and sometimes I take on cases that look like riddles, smell like trouble, and end with a bill for pizza. It was one of those evenings when even the neon lights seemed to shine in resignation. Rain fell as if the sky was trying to wash away its guilt. I was sitting in my office, trying to convince myself that reading 3 pages of a toaster manual counted as literature. Then, the doorbell rang. I opened it. There stood a dog, a Yorkshire Terrier, small, like the world told him to prove that size doesn't matter. His coat gleamed like an evening tuxedo, sleek and uncompromising. He held a slip of paper in his mouth. One word was written on it: joke. Of course, he wasn't alone. Behind him stood Mrs. Lilo, my upstairs neighbor from the 2nd floor, the one with the ceramic angels and the basil liqueurs. "He's probably yours," she said. "I found him sitting outside your office, staring at the door like he was waiting for something or someone." I looked at the dog, he looked at me, and then I did something stupid. I let him in. The next day I named him Joke, because that's what he was. A cosmic joke. Or maybe a warning. 3 days later, I drank the elixir. Professor Next is the kind of man whose resume starts with, once tried to build a memory reversal machine, but ended up with a mayonnaise mixer. An eccentric, an alchemist, a philosopher, occasionally a supplier of dubious liqueurs. He once brought me a bottle labeled Elixir of Hearing Truth. I told him I already had coffee for that. He laughed and vanished in a cloud of anise-scented smoke. A few days later, on a rainy night, while the mice were once again staging military maneuvers behind the fridge, I reached for the bottle in the dark. It had the color of aged copper and a taste like childhood on steroids. By morning, everything had changed. "You know your mug hasn't seen a sink in a week," said a voice. I looked around. No one. "And that sweater. Maybe it's time to let it go. With dignity. Into retirement." I stared at the wall, the ceiling, the mirror. Then I looked at Joke. He sat, tilted his head, and said, or rather I heard him say, "Bad news. That wasn't rum. Good news. Now you can hear me. And no, you're not crazy. Yet." I dropped my mug. It didn't break. It landed on a pile of newspapers from 1937, but the coffee seeped between the floorboards. I slumped into my chair. Looked at the dog. He looked back. "Is this some kind of joke?" I asked. "Yes. And my name is Joke, so that checks out." And that's how it started. I didn't know yet that before the week was out, we'd stumble upon a watch that ticks backward, an old man who claimed he built it in 1947, and a woman who remembers the future. But back then, all I had was a cat outside my window, a talking dog on my rug, and a gut feeling that this was going to be the strangest case of my career. And it was only Monday.